As you can see by the title, I'm here because we need to address this. Thank you for all your kind words. For those of you that respond to me about what's happened the last few days for me, I appreciate it. Thank you for those who have subscribed to my Substack. It's still there. If you're interested, please subscribe. I could use the support. And also, if you want to do a one-time donation, email me at kumquat the number 6 at outlook.com, and I'll send you my PayPal uh, information. But let's talk about the shit is about to go down. So we know that the Senate has been working this weekend because Trump ordered the John Thune to stay home, to stay in Washington and deal with this. They didn't order Mike Johnson because we know what would happen there. But here's what's going on. They've been working, doing votes and votes and votes with this clean CR, negotiating. Okay. They've been negotiating. Now, we know what happened on Friday, that the Democrats came up with a simple proposal and said this is their minimum was going to be, hey, what we're going to do is that we'll give you the clean CR if you give us 1 year guaranteed ACA. Okay. I thought it was a pretty good move. Some people were suspect of it about Chuck Schumer. I thought it sounded like a good move. I mean, they agreed to it, and they're going to be stuck. And they're going to be stuck. They're going to be stuck trying to explain themselves when they go after the ACA on the next enrollment. What we didn't know, and there's a story in the American Perspective. Look it up online about on Wednesday. Do you remember that after the election, people were saying, a lot of Republicans were saying, don't worry, the Democrats are going to cave on Wednesday because they're going to get past the election. They satisfied their communist and Marxist base, and they're going ahead and cave in. I thought that was bullshit. Okay. Guess what? It wasn't bullshit. According to that article, Chuck Schumer was ready to cave. Chuck Schumer and his gang of 8, which includes both New Hampshire senators and I believe Senator Matos from Nevada, were going to cave in, do the clean CR on a promise that they'll take up the ACA in December. You know that's the stupidest thing to do because you can't trust Trump to do anything. Can't. He's just going to laugh when this happens. They're just going to laugh at it. Okay, they're just going to say, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Checks in the mail, blah 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 blah. So he was going to do it, and he got into a caucus, and they're saying, "Yeah, as your leader, this is what we're going to do." Well, the rest of the caucus said, "Oh hell no! We just crushed them in their fucking election. Why should we do this?" And so 2 of those senators backed away from fear. Okay. And they came up with this proposal, which the Republicans totally rejected. And I thought, why did they reject it? Well, with that perspective, it looks like, according to Aaron Parnas, and he's pretty on spot, that they have come with, that he got 10 senators to agree with a clean CR to that original thing he wanted to do on Wednesday. Promises. Promises. Oh, yeah, Vincent John, I'm going to get to that $2,000 check. Mother. I did a video on that a minute ago. But with the promise that they're going to do it on a bipartisan promise that we're going to talk about the ACA in December. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is absolutely wrong with Chuck Schumer. I mean, he must be so far up AIPAC's ass that they made this request. I don't know. It makes no sense. And don't give me this shit about SNAP. We did this because we wanted to protect people getting food. The Trump regime artificially created that crisis. artificially created that crisis by stealing the money or holding it back illegally. That's why they're in court. Okay. That's why that judge in Rhode Island said you got to pay the whole thing because you had the money designated, and then you didn't want to do it. And in the court filing, the Trump DOJ said, "Yeah, we're doing this as leverage for the shutdown," which is not a legitimate legal um, argument. So if he brings that to us, if they do this, because what's going on is that the vote's about to happen tonight. They're working out details. Okay, probably trying to get um, Mike Johnson off of a grinder to call the House back because they need the House back to make this vote. There's going to be a fight in the House, but whatever, they got the majority. He's going to have to swear in Bravola, and that's going to be a world of shit. If he doesn't do it, if he doesn't call in the House until December because they're waiting for that Tennessee election, then you know what all this is about. Even with the Democrats caving, but that's another pig to stick later. But right now, see these corporate control elected officials voted. Yeah, that's what it is, and that's what Vincent Johnny's saying here. My Canadian brother, how you doing, brother? Is he? I don't know what he's doing. It makes no sense. Maybe he got money from the airlines because they need to get back to work. Maybe I don't know, but it makes no sense from a political standpoint because you just pissed off the majority of the Democratic Party. Anything you say, Chucky, on that podium with your 10 cohorts is not going to fly because you're working in a world that doesn't bloody exist. I don't know what to say other than that it doesn't exist. All right. Those days are gone. And you want to trust the Republican Party, the MAGA Republican Party, and Donald Trump to keep their word. If you do this, Donald Trump will laugh at you because you rolled over for him. He's a fucking bully. And they're going to laugh at you. They're going to pop more champagne that we paid for down in Mar-a-Lago and say, see, we got him. Because Chuck Schumer is a big wuss. Or he's owned by corporate controlled elected officials. Exactly, Vincent. Because let's go ahead and if they do this, let's go ahead and piggyback on one other thing. Zoran Mandami shows you what you can do when you're a progressive democratic socialist. When you talk to the people and what the government can do for your people, not what they're going to do to you. Okay. And he had a good plan and he explained it to everybody. But it scares the piss out of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who reluctantly endorsed him, but Chuck Schumer did not. And Jeffries and Schumer didn't show up at the victory party afterwards. So the point being is this. It's simple. Okay. They're still talking about corporate donors. And the biggest one right now is Kathy Hochul. Because Kathy Hochul endorsed Mandami, went with Mandami, and then all of a sudden, when he said she's going to cooperate with me, she says, I'm not raising taxes. She's not going to cooperate with Mandami. She's not. Because she is beholden to corporate interests. She is beholden to corporate interests like Chuck Schumer. Now, Elise Stefanik is now running on the Republican side, who's going total Trump. She couldn't win that if she wanted to. Not in New York. Even if Hochul goes total, trying to sabotage Mandami. But this is where the rubber meets the road today. Like I said, two of the senators that are a part of this group are both New Hampshire senators. I don't know they're up for re-election. Okay. There's a senator in Nevada. Look up again the American Prospect article. But if they do this, let's see here. Yeah, Mondami should endorse Delgado. Spacer 757 Mondami should endorse Delgado for governor. He should. Because Antonio Delgado talks like Mondami. All right. Kathy Hochul talks like Chuck Schumer. I mean, it's pretty simple. This is total and absolute the stupidest thing to do. How can you take a moment where you literally crush the Republicans on the idea of affordability? Have you noticed all the Trump stuff? He's trying to do affordability, but it's not going to work. The last one, what was he talking about? 50-year mortgages? Who the fuck wants a 50-year mortgage? How's that going to affect anyone? Oh, yeah. And Fannie Mae just got rid of the base credit score to get a loan. Gee, when did I hear that happen? Oh, yeah, when the bubble broke for the first Great Recession. They're doing things to make things affordable, but it's going to blow everything up. By the way, the economy has lost jobs, 1.8 million jobs since he became president. Layoffs are up 180%. And contrary to what you say, Donnie, grocery prices are up. The CPI index went up, has gone up combined about a 1.5%. And this, just so you know, the CPI index is not based on your the Walmart turkey package. Okay? Economies don't work like that. All right? This is crazy. And you have this momentum. You could roll into it. If they keep the government shut down, it's not the Democrats' fault. I don't care what Scott Bassett was screaming um, at George Stephanopoulos today. No, because these people are stupid. Sean Duffy went on, I believe, Face the Nation and said, we don't need air traffic controllers. Pilots don't need them. They should gut it out. He has no idea how planes land. All you have to do is look up a YouTube video on the air traffic controlling talking to pilots and the complexity of what they do, or a plane coming to land. When a plane glides down in the middle of a city of New York or Atlanta or Chicago, that is a planned, guided path. It takes precision and it takes teamwork to get it done because, especially around busy airports, other planes are leaving. It's a dance. And this dumb motherfucker is talking about gut checks. This is what we're doing. Total incompetence in the lead. And that incompetence cost them that election. But you dumb motherfuckers in charge of the Democratic Party are going to piss it away. You're going to piss it away. You're going to piss it away because corporate donors are afraid. Or the fucking airlines are afraid because they're cutting back 10%. Or Ron Johnson said planes are going to fall from the sky. They want a disaster. They want people to die. Fuck, they want people to starve. And if he comes up and says, oh, this is about the SNAP benefits to help Americans. No, that again, artificially created crisis. It shouldn't have been like that. It was done. All right. And let me see here. You're talking about Vivek Spacer because MAGA doesn't want. No, yeah, he's a dummy. It's like ICE agents who are Mexican or black. They don't want you. Okay. And that's the thing. This just emboldens the Trump regime. They don't, but you know what, Vincent Johnny? I'm getting to the point. Did you heard? I'm going to say this. Someone took pot shots did a drive-by on Border Patrol the other day in Chicago. They were trying to arrest somebody. And there were shots fired. This is also a day after that I shot someone that was not a threat to him. It's escalating on its own. They want people to riot, sure, but how are they going to control the country when they do that? I mean, there's not enough military. It would be a disaster. All right, it'd be bad for business too, but who knows? Um, I don't know if we get betrayed by the Democratic Party, because that's what I feel. It's going to be a betrayal. It is be the dumbest thing on circumstances that don't exist. You just got to hold on. Let them look stupid. Yeah, I know federal. You've probably been getting pushed. He's probably getting pushback from federal employee union, from the military, some of the military families. I get it, but you should be deflecting that pressure not from you, but to the president, the all Trump and the Republican Party. Chuck Schumer is weak. Those Democrats are weak because they live in a different world than we live in. They don't live in our world. They don't see it every day. And it just pisses me off because you had a win. You literally had a win. Okay. And you just walked away from it because the excuses are going to come hot and heavy. And then Chuck is going to be upset that people are getting mad at him. I'll guarantee it. Just like the last thing he did in March. Why is everyone upset at me? Because, motherfucker, you sold us down the road. So this is what's going to happen. If he does this and Chucky thinks that he's won, the Trump and the Republicans are going to crow and laugh, and they're going to say exactly what they said. They had said that Schumer was going to collapse, was going to cave, even after the election. He's caving. He's caved, and they're going to laugh at him, and they're going to laugh at us, and they're going to own the libtards again. And I'll tell you what else is going to happen. And Chuck doesn't plan for this because because they made him promises, you know, promises they don't intend to keep. Those laid off federal workers are either going to get fired or they ain't getting paid. Don't give me this bullshit about, well, if they have to, it's in the law. Really? When is Trump following law? When is the OMB's Russell Vought, the head of the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025, follow law? They will, they will, they will stiff them and they will make their lives miserable. Why? Because because this is a punishment. Trump is never going to forget the Democrats stood up on him. And what do bullets do? They punish you. They punish you afterwards. They go after you again. All right. They go after you again and they hurt you. I don't know. Fetterman Spicer is part of it. And it was the other thing, but Schumer was the leader. Real quick, Vincent Johnny heard that Russia is trying to help Venezuela, like you said about World War One hidden pacts between other countries, creating a dominoes effect. The Russians can do that. What are they going to do? They barely, no offense, Vincent, but they barely can control what's going on in Ukraine. Okay. What are they going to help them with? Nothing. I mean, it's just, I mean, they got nothing. It's a nice idea, but they don't have anything to send them. They're stretched thin as it is. So if they say they do it, I laugh at it. That's a joke. Now, if the Chinese said, if the Chinese were going to do that, I'd be worried. Oh yeah, quick note. The Chinese just put on the sea their most advanced aircraft carrier group in the sea. The most advanced aircraft carrier group. So while Trump is fucking around with tariffs and being laughed at by the world, they are becoming a world power economically and militarily because Pete Hesketh is ripping the military apart. NDAs for generals and admirals. He's fleshing out admirals and generals doing loyalty tests. It's a disaster. And the Chinese don't have to worry about anything. They're going to be the premier power in the world in less than probably 2 years because we're dealing with this bullshit. This is what we elected. I thought, and I did the podcast with Mike, the Rational Boomer the other night. We were saying that maybe because I was pissed off at the election because we should have done this a year ago. We wouldn't be here. But what happened? They finally got to the point where it is affecting them, so they turned. and people came out and pushed back. But you're going to give it all back to them because once you get mega comfortable again, what you just did with Snap and all that, and give them something to crow about, you just lost the advantage. We have to gain the advantage, and the only way to gain the advantage, ladies and gentlemen, is to primary every motherfucking Democrat who has any idea about corporate donors. We need to. Like, look what's going on with Graham Planter in Maine. Yeah, he's got some issues. And one person tried to compare him to John Fetterman or to Krista Sinema. That once he gets into the Senate, he's going to turn on us. All right. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing: it's better than Susan Collins, who is behind a lot of what we're seeing here on the budget shutdown. It's going to be better than anyone that 77-year-old, was it Janet Mills, another old folk. I mean, I'll give Nancy Pelosi credit. At least she stepped away. If you guys are just joining us, hi, I'm back just in the live. Let's see here. If only the Russians and U.S. to fail, China would have the rise to the top. China is waiting for Russia to collapse and to gain control of Siberia or the fresh water and oil, and that's the resources they need for the final push into Taiwan. To be honest, Spacer, I'm talking about that. They don't need to militarily take over Taiwan. Considering that Trump has put tariffs on them and made the Taiwanese feel uncomfortable, I think if they did an economic pact, I think they'll be okay. The Chinese are smarter than that. And I don't think they want a war. They don't want a war. As for the Russians, you can't get into Siberia because that would be the thing that's still going to be the holding point is nuclear weapons. We got to remember that. Because if they could push, there will be mushroom clouds. That's honest. So, but the Chinese, if they do economic connections, that's how you squeeze people. And the United States is getting more isolated and isolated. Not. Don't buy what Trump's saying. And side note, because someone mentioned it earlier. So Trump, again, the affordability for a long time. See, Vincent Jai, the Chinese military has not been tested in large military operations for a long time. Truth. But we are incompetent right now. The Chinese would not test Joe Biden. They will test Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth. They will test them because why? They're incompetent assholes. All right. And they basically stripped the military of their best leaders. So they're feeling it. Why wouldn't they? Economically, they got money to burn now. Their economy was really on as the rest of the world economy was building up with the U.S. and Biden's economy. Now with our economy collapsing and the tariffs causing alliances to fall apart, they're just picking up pieces. It's smart. Let's see here. True, the opposition party to the current administration running Taiwan now is the Democratic-run Taiwan. Democratic Party in Taiwan, but the Kuomintang party is the far-right party. Yeah, that was the original party that came across with Chiang Kai-shek back then. What they used behind, they want unification with the CCP because Xi said it would be reward them with power and child. That wouldn't surprise me. Because remember, Kuomintang is the original people that broke when Mao. And they were aristocratic to begin with. Taiwan built an economy. And I could see the Kuomintang cutting the deal with the Chinese. Maybe in a Hong Kong situation, technically under their control or an alliance. I could see it. I mean, because the Chinese don't want war. They want, and if you can get capitulation with money, it makes sense. That's a good point. I forgot about the Kuomintang. And I forgot about the history behind that. A lot of people forget about what happened, why Taiwan came into existence after the revolution with Mao, and what happened. Um, see, the Kuomintang, just when the spacers, Thomas, the Kuomintang later from the last Taiwan election ran to China because they discovered collusion with China. Yeah, of course he did, right? But um, we'll see what happens. Holder writes, why would Dems cave? The blue states are paying SNAP benefits. Let Trump pay the red states for the emergency funds that existed. Because Chuck Schumer, and you have to see the Parnas. I recommend the Parnas report got me alerted to what's about to go tonight. And the article by the American Perspective told me, gave me some more perspective. It's because Chuck Schumer believes in bipartisanship. He trusts the Republican Party even under Trump. And also, he is feeling pressure from his corporate donors. It's APAC, it's the airlines, it's business. Okay. He's feeling pressure from the Federal Employees Union. It's pressuring him. Okay. It's pressuring him to go shut the shutdown. Okay. Thinking that's going to get their paychecks. They ain't getting their paychecks. Tell me, you know I'm right, Hudner. They're not getting their paychecks. Okay. That ain't happening. I know that. You know that. Okay. But Chuck Schumer is a weak, cowardly man who lives in a world where you trust the other party. He trusts the other party to do the right thing. You see, he did that in March, and then we got the big, beautiful bullshit bill that cut. Then all of a sudden he's upset. You're cutting Medicaid and Medicare and all that. Yeah. What did you expect was going to happen, Chucky? And it's going to be the same way. Well, I trust him. We're going to talk about it in December. Fuck, dude, they ain't going to remember your name. I know you not, old man. That's how it's going to run. And you cut a deal with Donald Trump? Donald Trump. You get what I'm saying here. You can't cut a deal with Donald Trump. Now, the only thing, oh, lovely, 60 Minutes just popping up because I'm watching the Red Zone. 60 Minutes is going to have a story on the farmers and their plight. Did you sell your soybeans yet, motherfuckers? You didn't, because there is no deal. Why do workers' unions think that Trump and the Republicans would hold their best interest? Because that's from Vincent John. Why? Because they're dumb. Look, I'm a retired Teamster. Okay, I'm smarter than the average bear. Okay, um, I'm smarter than the average bear. Um, but a lot of the people I work with aren't, and they're hateful people, and they really think because also they can't talk to Republicans. Republicans don't give a shit about them, so they turn to Democrats because Democrats care. So they think that's going to help them. I think um, Mahdi Hassan was on Charlemagne the God's radio show, and he was saying the same thing to Mahdi Hassan. Why can't the Democrats do the right thing? He goes, why do the Democrats who do not have power in the House, Senate, or presidency, and really the Supreme Court too, why do they have to be the good person? Why do they have to be the adult every time? Let their actions as a child cause their consequences. And that's the problem. It is that why? Unions think why? Because they can get to the Democrats and they can't get to Republicans. Because Democrats care, the majority of them. They have empathy. Also, their bosses, corporations, can get on Democrats because Democrats would cave. Hunter writes, if Democrats came, the Dems will lose the midterms. I would give my money and my vote to someone who won't fight for me. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Primaries have to happen before the midterms, Hunter. So if you have a choice, you can push out a Democratic incumbent and tell them to go fuck themselves. I'm going to take someone like Zoran Mondani type person. Okay, all right. You could take them. Okay, and they're the ones that are going to stand up, and they're the ones going to stand up for you. See, the difference is that Democrats don't get They're going to get primaried. I think Kathy Hochul right now has a good chance of getting primary if Schumer does this and she turns her back on Zoran Mondami in New York City. Because and Antonio Robledo is her lieutenant general and he speaks like Mondami. And if he steps up and she gets primary, let's put it this way: there's going to be a Democrat in the New York governor's house. At least Stefanik is not winning that because that Trump shit ain't working. I saw her press conference. It was a bunch of Trump signs in the audience. Fuck you. So don't give up. What I'm saying, Hubner, don't do what we did last year. You got to keep voting, even though it's the lesser of two evils, because at least we can work with that. I'm not saying that's right. God, I know it's not right, but we can primary their assets. We can make their lives miserable. We can break down the DNC leadership and make them pay for their lack of vision. Spatial rights might not work though. I thought Mike is right. The Republicans don't want the shutdown to end. So hopefully Thune is more stupid than Chuck and he turns down any deal. We talked about that. I brought this possibility up. If they cut a deal tonight, that doesn't end the shutdown. It has to go to the House. And if the House messes with the bill, it's got to go back to the Senate to be revised, and then back to the House, and then back to the president for his signature. That's how government works. See, that's the thing they keep thinking. Oh yeah, we get Democrats to cave the Senate. It's going to be open tomorrow. Grinder Mike Johnson has to bring in the House back. And what does Grinder Mike Johnson have to do when he brings the House back? He has to swear in Gravala from Arizona. And what's the first thing other than that's going to be done? There's going to be that discharge petition with Epstein. So now that's what the rubber meets the road. Let's see, Spacer. Yeah, I'm hoping that happens. Because if that happens, that exposes the entire game. That exposes exactly what all this was about. It was about fucking keeping the Epstein files quiet. Because leaks are coming out of the FBI that this is bad. Bad. All right. So the point being is this is, we're going to see. Now, if he brings them back and they get the House open, because here's the thing, if he doesn't bring them back and people get suffering, they're going to start, then the screaming is going to be on the Republicans. We'll see what happens. Vincent Johnny, education so bad. People from Kentucky thought they could vote for New York City mayor and Virginia governor race. You know what? I kind of agree with you, but I don't think that's, I'm going to not disagree, but kind of put a different perspective on it. They want to vote for those people because they want someone to make a change where they live at. They don't have a Mondami or a Spanberg or a Sherrill in Kentucky. They got Andy Beshear. But the problem with Andy Beshear is that they gave him nothing to work with a Republican state house and state senate. And they want that. They want that so bad. It's not a point about education. They really just want to be part of something that they can feel good about because they've been put down so much. Mitch McConnell sucked them dry, that old fuck. And they kept putting him in office with promises, culture war promises. But now they're suffering economically. And these people are talking about economics, affordability. So yeah, we can laugh at it, Vincent, but I think it's because they desired it. And I think a lot of people who voted Democratic, especially like here in Georgia, they voted for the two public commissioners at a 2-to-1 margin, wasn't just because they were tired of Republicans fucking them because they're going to affect the rates. They're going the power rates. That's what they do. They set utility rates. Public commissioners. Is that it was a way of saying, yeah, I stand with Democrats. I stand with Democrats. So that's my idea here. Let's see here. Cheryl and Spanger know that Trump. Okay, there's something here I saw. Sharon's spacer. See here. Sorry, we'll disagree. Red states vote for the person with the R next to their name. Kamala tried to meet the middle ground and it didn't move the needle. No, Hodner, I get you. And as I said earlier in the live here, was that I was pissed after that election. Where the fuck was that a year ago? But understand, Hodner, here in Georgia, they've held those public commissioner seats, Republicans, for 25 years. Normally, Democrats only run people. But for the first time, Democrats won those two seats in a landslide, literally a landslide, 2-1 in a landslide because it was a statement against the Republican Party. Because a lot of people, what it is the culture wars has been what they've been running on. You know that, the hate. That's all they got. They can't govern with hate. And what's happening is that economics are coming down onto their people. Okay. Are coming down on them. And now they're realizing that the affordability is important. All right. Yeah. The affordability is important. That's why Trump keeps talking about affordability. And especially said established. Yeah. Well, you know what? Republicans, once Trump is gone, announced, you know what? He can talk that. We ain't going to do it. We're not going to do it because the Republican Party's dead as we know it. Electric bills, Vincent, they were due to the data centers. They'll be taking a lot of water too. Yeah, I know. That's a nightmare. Partner, we need to do away with primaries and go straight to ranked choice voting. That would be fun, but that ain't going to happen. So, and that's going to only happen if we get rid of certain people in the Democratic establishment. So we have to take a step to make a leap, one small step, and and one giant leap. It's just this one step in stepping. Um, but I want to address something about the affordability because someone brought that up earlier. Trump keeps saying that we got trillions and trillions of dollars in tariffs. I don't know where that's coming from. No, what are you talking about? I don't see any money. What money? What money are you talking about? Okay, so much money he's going to give us. This is what I love about this statement of his: $2,000 to not the high end earners in the country. So basically, he's trying to say, I'm going to give $2,000 to you poor folk to kind of make you feel better and see that I'm a man of the people. One, you can't do it. As a president, you can't sign checks. You need the House to do it. I know the House hasn't been around. It doesn't work like that. And I know you've been using the Treasury, Donnie, as your own personal play toy. Look, Scrooge McDuck, it doesn't work like that. Okay? And only the special people with a special kind of stupid believe in that. And I know MAGA's all over it. It's like when he said that he told the farmers he made a deal with China to buy soybeans. Where's the deal? Where's the soybeans? Where's the sales? Where's the checks? It's all a bunch of bullshit. We know this. And that's what we're going to be dealing with, is a bunch of bullshit. So the biggest thing here for all of you, thanks for joining me, because this was just like, look, for me, it's been a rough fucking few days. Okay. As you know, I lost my buddy, my cat. I love Bagheera. He's my warrior cat. He'll always be my warrior cat. And that's a tough thing to take. And then my corporation, the company I work for, basically fucked over my immediate supervisor and immediately all of us. I was talking to someone else today that works in the same office, and he goes, they have no idea what's going on. And I hate that. And I think part of it is the corporate layoffs everywhere, trying to do something for the bottom line. It says for business, they keep the excuses business this, business that. No, it's because they're trying to get some money for the end of the quarter. Addressing a few other things, Mr. Johnny, where's the money they're getting from all this? Where's the money they're getting for all the spending from? Probably the SNAP money. That's why Ketanji Brown, at first I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? But apparently when she sent it back to the um, First Circuit Court of Appeals was that, hey, you need to investigate everything, including where the money's at. So they have to explain where the money's at. There might be a moot point once the government opens and they can hide it and the money comes back flowing in. But yeah, they're getting the money anywhere they can. 40 billion for Argentina, $173 million for Christian owns jets. And those fucking parties. Can you put your email address in your YouTube account page? I'll go ahead and do that. I'll try to do that, Vince and Johnny. But my email address, if you've got a pen and paper, is KUMQUAT, kumquat, the number 6 at outlook.com. Okay? You can hit me there and I'll put it in there. Thank you for that. Hudner, are the Dems afraid of shutdown going through Thanksgiving? Do people understand all the healthcare insurance premiums affected by the ACA? It's not fun and healthcare pays that price. I know. They know this, but they're afraid of the Thanksgiving thing. I'm going to say something about the holidays right now. I love the holidays. Thanksgiving, because came from a big family, was a great thing. When you come from a Hispanic family, you get tamales. Miss my mom. God, we made tamales. Oh, okay. That being said, um, uh, I just had memories of making tamales with my mom, the masa and that. And if your mom is with you still, please, please enjoy that because once it's gone, it's gone. And just quick note. Tamale. Yeah, I couldn't. Oh no, I couldn't do a tamale. That was my mom's thing. I mean, I could do it. Look, my mom made tortillas. Okay, and I can make tortillas. Can't make it like my mom. Never could do it. Can't even get close. And I probably could make tamales, but I would make it and then I would go, yeah, but eat my mom's. So, quick story. When I met my wife years ago, she's beautiful, German lady. And I brought her home for the first time. They were my wife, my mom, and my sister, and a couple of family friends were making tamales. And now my mom had one of these blue roasters. Remember the old blue roaster covers? And she would make the masa and then mix in the chili. And then she had the meat in a different pot, the meat in a different pan. And then they would fill out the corn husk and put in, the meat and then wrap them up. My girlfriend at the time to meet my family and my dad was in his room watching football and my mom was there making tamales. And she sat my wife down to sit down next to her and make tamales and kicked me out of the kitchen. I never forgot that. Never forgot that. So my wife had to make tamales. And yeah, I missed that. So what I'm saying is you got to remember family is family. And even if coming up, it's going to be a tough run. And that's what I was going to say. The holidays have been ruined by Trump. They've been ruined. They've absolutely ruined. I mean, first of all, families and political bullshit talking, but just the stress he's put on everybody. The politicization of the holidays, be it Thanksgiving or Christmas, he's ruined it all. And it's worse now because economically, a lot of people are fucked. Like I said, my boss has a wife and 2 kids and he got let go right before the holiday. Now what? He'll land on his feet. He's a young dude. He's really got talent, but that's not fair. But it is what it is. I don't know what's going to happen on Monday when I not come into the office, but boot up and say, hey, what's next? We don't know. I mean, I asked my friend at the office, my colleague, and he said, I go, are they going to get rid of tenured people? He goes, don't know. We don't know. Uncertainty like that scares the piss out of you. So, yeah, it's just crazy. So I don't know if you want to celebrate the holidays. I know they're talking about that blackout thing for the holidays, but I don't know why people should suffer like that, honestly. I don't want a week of black eye. One day, maybe. I don't know. We'll see here. Vincent John, they say climate change is false, but I've winter snow been known cause of Halloween. There was snow, so the lake is not frozen. In 2025, Halloween was cold. Listen, Johnny. Yeah. Tomorrow here in Georgia, we're gonna get a cold blast. Right now, it was 75 degrees today. By tonight, it'll be in the 40s, and it's gonna drop down ever since for the rest of the time. As you can see, I'm in my garage right now, and by 6 o'clock tomorrow, I'm gonna freeze my ass off. So yeah, it's crazy. The weather has patterns, but it's exasperated by climate change. But and that's another thing. Early winter is going to cost people a lot of money to heat their homes, not only heating oil but electricity. So it's going to be a tough, tough winter. And that's another thing. More misery, more pain for the American people, and we just got to hang in there. I'm going to make a quick note on here, then I'm going to get going because it's close to 5 o'clock Eastern, and I've gone a little long, but that's fine. And I appreciate you all coming in. I will do what Vincent wanted me to do about my email. I'll do that before the night's out, and you can reach me there. But also, ICE is starting to become even worse than it was before. They shot someone the other day in Chicago, and they're proud of it, but they're being called to task. They got dragged into court over the Broadview detention center and all the abuses they're having in there, witnesses, and now they're being ordered by court to fix that. And then yesterday in Chicago, someone drive by them, took shots at them. Didn't hit them, but that was a warning. We're getting to that point with ICE. They think they're invulnerable. They think that they're immune. They think they can arrest people for their own opinions, for pushing against them. But they're starting to find out that people are starting to push back. And eventually, something is going to really happen. And you still remember, they are not going into the south side of Chicago. They're not going into the gang areas of Los Angeles. They avoid them. Why? Because as soon as they do that, it's going to be bad for them. Very, very bad. And yesterday, I believe, was a warning. Some guy was saying, well, Chicago, boy, that was weak. You should have hit someone. No, that was a warning. That was a warning to Border Patrol and ICE that we have not pushed it, but we will push it. And I think and here's the thing, the first thing I thought about Second Amendment rights. What's the Second Amendment? Says that a well-armed militia in case the government gets out of control. That's what they're doing. Government's out of control with a force of people that are not following constitutional law. And so what did they do? Use your Second Amendment rights to bear arms to fight. Why does ICE need military launchers? Because they have an unlimited budget. And someone thought it was cute. Those guys wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. Let's be honest, they're weak ass bitches. If you get offended by getting hit by a sandwich, or you get offended by someone calling you names, I love that people go after ICE agents and then they start talking about their moms. You've seen those eyes under their mask when they talk about their mamas. Your mom would not be proud of you, or make insults on their family. All right, they're sad human beings. They're weak ass, sad little human beings, and their reckoning will be very big. They don't get it, and I'll say it like I said before. These regimes end badly. They burn out, and when they burn out, the leaders aren't the ones that take the biggest price. No, the ones who take the biggest hit are the little minions that did the work. And each one of you little assholes are probably white supremacists anyway. Oh, your reckoning is not going to be good. Because the next time around, there will not be a Merrick Garland to protect you. There won't be. There's going to be someone like Jack Smith who's going to prosecute you to the nth degree on a tribunal with special powers to convict you. Partners are likely the emergency fund is depleted. Yeah, likely use ice or Botox for his new Lewandowski. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the money's gone. That's why they. That's why they really want the government to be open, because then they can put the money back in and fake it. I'm afraid though they may just say Snap's dead. Trump and the Republicans are trying to get away from to cancel all that for decades. Remember, um, um, Johnson started the war on poverty, but Republicans had been on the war on the poor. Because I always remember, at least before the dark days, before Trump, Fox News, when they're building up their propagandas, always had at least one story on the poor. On the poor. Um, just a quick note, because as I'm watching the red zone in the background, Veterans Day is November 11th. And that is to honor all those who have served. I don't know how that's going to be tainted this year by Pete Hesgeth and all that, because they have ruined the idea of the United States military. It's bad. And the remembrance are going to be a joke. And I want to say that because a lot of people gave their lives for who we are over the close to 250 years, only to be betrayed by these people. The irony about all this, and I said this a few years ago to someone, is that I thought if America was going to fall like that or go under some kind of king, I thought it would be someone more closer to Aragorn, someone who would stand up for you, or Theoden, who would be the first one in front of a charge, someone that you would give your life to, that your democracy and your republic would mean something, because he would be the person you would give that up for, because he knew he had his back and it would be better for everyone. What do we get? Fucking reality con man who's ripping us off. And see here, yeah, I'm going to address this real quick. Johnny, the American people and whites have been gotten to control sooner than that. Hodner, fight here is the rich and the poor. Color doesn't matter. If race thinks they should be in front of the line. That's how the rich keep poor fighting. Yeah. The one thing, greatest economy and military budget, told the military to pillage, yeah, the food banks. There's a video of in North Carolina outside of base, and I know when it's base, military people lining up for a food bank. Men in camo. And that's why they don't show you. That's what they don't want to tell you, that it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. And because the economy is flying blind, it's going to collapse. So when it collapses, there's not much we can do about it except go for the fucking ride. Because I don't care what Trump says about the 401ks and all that. That's all going to fall apart. It's coming. It really is. It's coming. You don't like it? Tough shit, but that's the truth. All right. And I'm going to kind of talk about one thing I think is important to talk about. The election on Tuesday proved one thing. This is not about left versus right, race versus religion, sex, all that. It was about up versus down. The oligarchs and the rich have been basically sucking us dry for 45 years. Okay. Ever since the idea of trickle-down economics entered the American psyche. Okay. All the tropes you hear about, people talking about the welfare moms and welfare queens, the 9 children. That was shit from the 80s that kept trickling around, okay, down the line. No. You see, that's how they kept us separated because now the poorest of the poor people, and as Johnson said, it doesn't take much for a poor white man to empty out his pockets to a rich man if they feel better, if they feel bigger than a poor colored person. That's what they do. But now the game's up. It's not about race wars and culture wars. That shit is not going to fly. Even with the Democrats betraying us today, that shit still is not going to fly because that game is over. You cannot blame everyone else for economic problems because you can see the problem of the economics already. It's the rich causing this. So in the end, when we come to the midterms, I still think Democrats come out ahead. I think the primary is going to cost the people who are not with the party, not with the program. I think that I think that honestly the MAGA are still going to do the same things. The hate here in Georgia, John Ossoff is running for Senate. He's running for re-election, and his main rival is Buddy Carter, a congressman who has done shit in Congress and is just a big Trump humper. And that's what he's trying to sell. They ain't going to fly. Not here in Georgia. It's not. We know better. All right. So, Hardner, there are studies showing that anomalies from the 24 election. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of that. And you saw what happened when people went out and voted. And the GOP is going to try. I don't think it's going to work. I'm confident that come the midterms, we're going to have a good hold on it. I'm also going to say something that I think is going to change everything. You've seen Trump, health-wise, falling asleep during that meeting. It's like he ain't looking good. Little day by day, he's looking paler. Everything is not working. Let's see, Spacer, so confused. So I'm actually that the deal Schumer's putting forward possibly that only fund the government through January. What's going to happen when January comes? The same thing, the same motherfucking thing, and you're still going to end up with the same fight, and and then the ACA is still fucked anyway. All right, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is making reasonable points. How do we deal with folks who don't trust and need to push back on this? Do we wait for Trump's fever to pass? No. Let me tell you about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Don't believe a fucking word she says. She's an opportunist. She jumped on the Trump train because that benefited her. She's done nothing in Congress at all. She's only saying this because here in Georgia, her area is starting to turn. And she's finding out because she's hearing from it. She's trying to save herself. She wants a statewide office here. She ain't going to get it. She wanted to run for Senate against John Ossoff. Republicans said no because she's poison. And as for the Trump fever to pass, no. The only way it's not going to pass. It's not going to pass. It's the Republicans are going to be who they are, some kind of conservative. All right. But common sense will kind of come back. We will flush that out of the system manually. Okay. There is no fever. What we'll have to do is treat it and flush it out. Spacer, Democrats came, MTG could be the winner of this fight because right now she could separate herself from the establishment and say both parties are wrong. She wants her own magazine. Yeah, she's useless. Okay. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I ain't dealing with her. She is DOA in Georgia. She cannot run by a statewide Senate seat statewide in Georgia. She couldn't become governor of Georgia. Okay. She was fine in her little district. because that's Rome and those people are kind of weird. Okay. But she cannot here because Georgia is too purple. It ain't going to work. And Vincent, how many seats Democrats could have won if the DNC fought for them? Remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene first came to Congress unopposed. So yeah, it's it's going to be a fight to the bitter end. I mean, one of the things I'm still surprised to this day from Tuesday is that the commissioners won, and normally Democrats on public commissioners, normally Democrats don't put up anyone for those type of offices. They did this time. So there's still something out there. Okay. Um, See, Spacer, let alone the president you hear on the podcast. I laugh. Yeah, she's ridiculous. She's nothing. She really isn't. Because her better half, the man that she threw her husband over for, is a big Trump pumper. So what is it, Marjorie? You with or without him? Whatever. Spacer, let him see here. Spacer, Ken Martin is useless. I think he called Mondami a fluke. Yeah, Ken Martin go kiss my ass. Also, whoever the ADA leader is in New York, stop it. You're going to have the Mondami line so people can report abuses. Shut up. Okay? Stop it. It's over. It's over. And that man is sharp and he's smart and he's going to adapt. And I think he's going to come. He won't do everything he wants. Politics doesn't work like that. And people will fight him to the end and try to blame him when it doesn't work. But I think he's too smart to let them get away with it. It's going to be interesting next few years with him. Spacer is same with the rest of the Republicans, like another. Ramaswamy telling New Yorkers to move out. Yeah, go ahead and move out. New Yorkers are great. I need a new apartment. Move out, please. I need a new apartment to see what I can do. I mean, I get it. It's just a joke. It's a joke. It's all a joke. So it's going to 5, and I'm going to spend another 15 minutes talking about one last thing. You all have seen the Najali TikToks. If you haven't, go check them out. The woman who has been calling churches this and saying, I'm a single mom. I don't have any formula. Haven't had it for a couple of days. She has a crying baby in the background sounds. Can you give me 1 can of formula? And of all the churches that she called, only 6 would help. 2 were Catholic, 2 were Black Baptist, and 1 was a mosque and a Buddhist temple. But the evangelical Christians didn't know. I want to know what you told your people, evangelical Christians, this Sunday. I want you to tell us how you did unchristian things that day. And don't say she's trying to scam you. Don't say it doesn't matter because she didn't have a child. It was a social experiment. And you failed. God tests you. The tester will test you on your faith and how you react to things. It's part of life. And you were tested and you were found wanting. All right. I am a Christian, but I'm fucking ashamed after I saw that. Ashamed. Because and it's not nothing new. These scams that have been going on since whatever. The revivals in the 30s. Evangelicals have been ripping people off for centuries. Literally centuries. And when the rubber met the road, when they called you out for helping people in this times of need, you failed. That shakes a lot of religion. That shakes my religion. Okay? Because what good is that if you worship a man who tells you to welcome a stranger and feed the poor and the hungry, and you turn your back on the poor and hungry, and you advocate for the stranger, the abuse of the stranger. We will have to figure this out. As a religion, it breaks my heart to see that. And well, I disagree with Boomer here and don't. There's a way to go. I think there's a down the rational platform and signed up to deliver that. If you listen to someone on Donnie, and he was talking, and someone was doing an evaluation, he's talking about programs like what Franklin Delano was on that. The New Deal was a big thing to swallow, but he explained it to people through his fireside chats, and they bought into it. Even though he had people, the rich, fighting him every inch of the way, he still was able to make people understand the benefits of it. And that's what Montgomery is doing, making people understand. Why do they hate him? Because he speaks plainly to things that the rich don't want us to know. Okay? So, to answer your question, I think that it's not the hard left. It's the last part of what you said, Hogner, in your statement. Well, put down a rational platform to deliver that. You can put down a rational platform that's left. It's socialist, like not the far, but those people. See, the problem is there's going to be no protection, no perfection. There's going to be no perfection. There's going to be compromise, and it's going to be, but that's where we're going to win because our words about how we're going to help everyone economically is not going to be the hate that MAGA's still going to hold on to. They still think they're cultural. Spacer, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Matthew 7:15. Thank you, Spacer. That's correct. The people have been sitting in pews and in pews in the churches for decades, thinking they're doing the right thing, and tithing, helping others, and they're not. Because if your church idea of helping the poor in community is getting your fucking preacher a Rolls Royce, fuck that. Am I distorted, Vincent? It could be my connection. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? I'm not using headphones. Got everything pretty silent here. Anyway, see, what do I see here? Spacer, things go back to even Eisenhower. I remember learning that him ran for president because both wanted to head away from FDR, also that Truman couldn't carry. And this is a conservative movement that started back to the Gilded Age. Yeah, to an extent. But you have to understand, under Eisenhower, the tax rate for the rich was like 70, 80%. So, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I can hear you, but the sound audio's off. I promise with this app, and I should have used headphones when I did. My apologies. I was doing this on the lark. Hopefully, the recording won't be too bad. But I appreciate you guys sticking together. So it's pushing 5. I have to go run down my dinner. I want to thank all of you guys for showing up. Whatever happens tonight in the Senate, understand it's going to be disheartening and make you angry, but hang on to the anger, not the disheartenment. Hang on to the hope that we will win in the end in spite of these assholes in front of us. Because we know there are more of us than there is even of them. Okay? Vincent Hodner, Spacer, thank you very much, bros. We will talk to you later. Thank you for hanging out with me today on this Sunday. Again, you can catch me here on Substack, Miner38US. YouTube, the same, Miner38US. TikTok, RJ12764 on TikTok. Again, I have a subscription service. If you want to sign out, I'd love that. It'll give me some help my work. If you want to reach me and want to make another donation for me, you can email me at KUMQUAT, the number 6, at outlook.com. Vincent, I put that in my YouTube profile. And yeah, I said, you guys stay safe, take care of yourself, and you have a good rest of the Sunday. Please be safe.